Good everyone. My name is Salah Rahim from No Big Deal Academy. I'm here to teach you how to answer practical questions in general computing. So let's get started. Question 1 says, what is the shortcut key to copy a selected text? What is the shortcut key to copy a selected text? A. Ctrl plus V. B. Ctrl plus X. C. Ctrl plus C. D. Ctrl plus A. If you look at this question now, you know that Ctrl C is the right answer here, and which is option C. So now let's prove our point. You open your MS Word. That is where we can quickly understand how this thing works. I will type in any text, maybe demand. Let's use this word, demand. Now, how can we do this using keyboard? Let's search for our keyboard on screen. I'll bring out my keyboard on the desktop so that you can see that when I click on Ctrl plus C, then I'll paste it. Then you see that the original text will still remain. So the option A here said Ctrl plus V, which means paste the word that you have copied. And if you did not copy or cut, you cannot paste. That is what made that one to be wrong. The second option, we say Ctrl X, it simply means to cut, which means if you cut a text, you cannot see the original text again. This is what I mean. Press your shift down and highlight. When you cut, the original text will remove. That is what made it wrong. Then the next option, which says Ctrl C, that is to copy. Even when you copy a text, the original text will still be remaining. So before you do anything on text, make sure that you highlight your word by using Shift and your arrow keys. Shift and your arrow key to highlight. After you highlight, then press Ctrl C. This particular word now has been copied. But before you can know that it is copied, just enter, then press Ctrl V. You see, the text is repeating without deleting our formal text. And again, what made the D options to be wrong? That is Ctrl plus A. We will use Ctrl plus A to highlight all text or select all text. What it means is that when you press Ctrl A, you see the effect of Ctrl A is to highlight all the text. But Ctrl C, it copy, and immediately you copy, you can paste it. Thank you. Let's move on to the question 2, which says, which menu is used to change font size in MS Word? Which menu is used to change font size in MS Word? If you know this answer, you can quickly comment so that you know it. But we have some options here, so let's go through it ourselves. Question A says, insert. That is where we can find fonts. B says, home. That is where we can find font size. C says, view. That is where we can find font size. Then D says, review. That is where we can find font size. No. Option B is the correct answer. That is home buttons. Home buttons is where we can find our font size. So what is it talking about? This is my mouse. These are the buttons we have in the MS Word. We have like 7 or 8 MS Word buttons. The first button is home. it shows that is where we can select it. So we have some other points. We said insert, that is option A said insert. When you click on insert, we can only see some other tools that we can use alongside with MS Word. Tools like table, shapes, clip art, pictures. Then if you talk about home, which says the correct answer is B, which say home. So now let's go to home. This is home. When I click on the home, then I will locate the font size. This is what we call font size. When I overthrow it, you will notice that it is written. When I overthrow this number, it is open that we have font size and even having Control plus Shift plus P to increase font size. So this is what we mean by font size. So having said this, let's move on to the option C. We said view. We can only get some rulers, guidance, and some other attachments which make it wrong. Then if we say review, there's nothing like that. Under review, where you can find under review is a thesaurus, and then you can equally search for something or translate some words. But home, which says option B, is the correct answer. So finally, where we can get our font size in MS Word is home, which is option B. Now let's move on to the question 3, which says to make text bold, use the shortcut Ctrl plus U. That's number 1, option A. Number B said Ctrl plus I. Number C said Ctrl plus B. Number D say Ctrl plus S. Now let's prove this to see the correct answer among these options. The first answer say Ctrl plus U. Ctrl plus U is not correct because Ctrl plus U is used to underline. Now, before you can underline the text, you highlight it. Now press Ctrl U. You see that it will underline those words. That means Ctrl plus U is wrong because what we are looking for is to bold the text. Then Ctrl plus I, we say B option, you say Ctrl I is for bold. No, it is wrong because Ctrl plus I, it is used for italics. Now let me press Ctrl plus I. Ctrl plus I, you see it forms a bent option. It gives an emphasis to your words. Now I move to option C, which says Ctrl plus B. Now I can prove to you that this option is the correct answer. Now let's prove it. I'll press my Ctrl, then press B. If you notice that this particular option has made my text to be bold, that means Ctrl plus B is the correct answer. So having said that, let's prove option D wrong so that we can have a clear and right option to choose from this option. So the last option here says Ctrl plus S, which make it wrong. Ctrl plus S is to save our document. Now let's press Ctrl S to see what will bring out for us. Ctrl S. You will notice that it's loading to bring out the save dialog box. So definitely Ctrl plus Ctrl plus S is wrong because it is used to save. This particular one is bringing out save options, which is wrong. So I want to tell you that option C, Ctrl plus B, is the right answer. Now moving on to option 4, which says under which tab can you insert a picture in MS Word? Under which tab can you insert a picture in MS Word? Option A says Home, B, Insert, C. Layout. D. File. Now let's check which options is best for this answer. They said we want to insert a picture. Which option should we pick? Should we go to Home buttons, Insert, Layout, or File? Now let me go to Home to see whether I can see where I can insert a picture. This is my Home. This is my Home. If you look at it very well, this particular Home is for font formatting, paragraph, and styling. So there's nowhere we can insert a picture. Now that means option A is wrong. It's not under Home. Now let's check option B, which says Insert. Now I will locate my insert. I will click. Now immediately I locate my insert. What am I seeing here? I'm seeing picture. So this particular picture is a tool that we use to call image in our MS Word page. That means option B is the correct answer. So if I click on picture, it will now load a directory from my desktop telling me to choose the file the pictures are placed. So if I choose desktop, now I will try to locate the picture that I want to insert in my page. For example, I want to insert this picture. Immediately I click on that picture, it will now open it will now open in my MS Word. That means I've successfully inserted this picture. So which means option B, insert, is the correct answer. But let's furthermore by checking layout, whether we can still see something like that. This is my layout. If you find layout very well, you cannot see anything like insert picture. Then the last option, which says file. Now if I go to file, this is a file. If I go to file, I cannot see any button that is telling me to open a picture. So that means this option insert is the correct answer, which is B. So we move on to the next one, which says, what does the red wavy line under a word indicate? That is question 5. He said, what does the red wavy line underline? What does the red wavy line under a word indicate? Now you are typing a word. You type, instead of G-O-D, you type G-U-D. Then something now happen. Or let me just type normal sentence. Oh wow, this one is not giving me red line. There's a line that will be red. If you type something, there's supposed to be a red line. If your sentence is not correct, something like this, you'll be seeing a red line. Let me just use normal line so that you can, whenever you are using a system that is giving you that red line, under it like this, you find a red line. You find a red line under it. Now we are now saying that, what does this red line mean? Option A said grammar error. Option B said formatting error. Option C said spelling error. Option D said link error. So what does it mean? It's a grammar error because it is red. So without wasting our time, it is a spelling error, which is what? Option C. Without wasting much of our time, let's move on to question 6, which says, to save a document, use A. Ctrl+P, B. Ctrl+X, C. Ctrl+V, D. Ctrl+S. Now the correct answer here is D. Ctrl+S. Let me prove to you by just pressing Ctrl+S. A dialog box will come out, telling you to choose the directories you want to save. So the directory is coming out. Just press Ctrl plus S. This is the directory that is coming out, telling you to choose the location that you want to save. So when you choose location of desktop, then you hit on save. That means Ctrl plus S is save. Question 7. What is the default file extension for MS Word 2016? File extension, how do you know file extension? Is by checking the last 3 prefix number. Let me show you on my desktop. Like this is a file. How do I know the file extension of this file? I will right click. I will now say property. Under the property, you see something like .doc. Now, why are you seeing .doc? That is what we call file extension. Now, how do you save? Or how do you know that this particular work is Windows 16? Now, if I want to save, I just click on save. Immediately I click on save, this particular word will come out. It's showing 1997 to 2003. So me, I'm using a lower version for this system. For MS Word, if I save this thing now, let me save it 2003. I save it on the desktop so that I can check the file format. So that from there we can decide which one is our answer. So this is the file I just saved. If I right click, I'll click on property. Now see, it's saving as .doc. That means anything lower than 216, it will be saving as .doc. So to prove to you, .txt is for normal text. .doc is for 207 and below. Why .docx, .docs is for 2016. I don't have 2016 version of MS Word on my system, but for what I have said, you should have known that DOCX is the correct answer. Then the last option is saying XLS. This XLL is for Excel format. So you can prove that by right clicking on any Excel format on your system, then you see the file format. Then we're moving on to question 8, which says, which tab lets you change page margin? Which tab lets you change page margin? A. View. B. Review. C. Layout. D. Insert. What this one means is that when you go to any of these buttons, you can what? Adjust your margin. A margin is just like a red line on your book. So if I want to adjust margin, it's telling me to go to view to adjust my margin. But when I go to view, there's nothing like margin. Then option B says to go to review. If I go to review, there's nothing like margin. If I go to layout. Now let's look at this. You will see margin. This is margin. So from here, I can adjust my margin to any format I like. So option C is the correct answer. But let's take option D, which said insert. That if I go to insert, I will see margin. No, there's no way you can see margin here. So definitely layout is correct answer here, which says option C. Then number 9 says to underline text, the shortcut key is A. Ctrl plus B. B. Ctrl plus I. C. Ctrl plus U. D. Ctrl plus S. A. Ctrl plus B is not correct because we have used it before to bold our text. Ctrl plus I is not correct because we have used it to italicize our text. Ctrl plus U is the correct answer Because when you highlight your text and you want to underline it, when you highlight, you now press Ctrl plus U. Now let's see, the word has been underlined. Definitely Ctrl plus U is the right answer, which is option C. Ctrl D, the last option we say Ctrl S is wrong because we use Ctrl S to save. Then last but not the least, this is where we are going to stop for today, which says which commands allow you to find a word in a document. This particular question comes out this year WAEC question, but the way they put it, they say find and replace. So definitely if you are following us, you can see some practical questions from WAEC here. So he said which commands allow you to find a word in a document? A. Ctrl plus Z. B. Ctrl plus F. C. Ctrl plus P. D. Ctrl plus N. Now, if you say Ctrl plus Z, it's not it, because Ctrl plus Z is for undo. To undo your last statement, it will keep on undo. Like for example, you do a mistake like this. You're not supposed to clean the first thing that you have typed, and unfortunately you clean it. You say Ctrl plus Z to undo the process. Then the second option said Ctrl plus F. That means Ctrl plus F is the right answer, which says to find a text. When you press Ctrl plus F, it will bring a dialog box to search a word in your MS Word. Thank you and welcome to No Big Deal Academy. I won't be able to continue from here. Number one, my battery is low. And number two, I want you to understand this thing very well. Take your time, practice all these things I have said. If you want something like this, subscribe to No Big Deal Academy. Thank you so much. You can share. Then these are some of the things that we are going to be asking ourselves during our project launching and scholarship